say good morning to Michael Rapaport, actor and comedian. He's performing 2 shows Friday and 2 shows Saturday at the Arlington Draft House. You can get your tickets at arlingtondrafthouse.com. What's up, Michael? Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys having me. I'm looking forward to performing at the Draft House in Arlington. I'm looking forward to a good weekend in the DMV.
Yeah, that's
By the way, this is his second time on the show because he did the Tribe Called Quest movie years ago, and he came on to promote that.
Ah, that's correct.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
I'm sure you remember
really
that
good.
interview.
Of course. It's something I think about often and like daily.
Yeah.
I was reading about you, Michael. I didn't know, everybody knows you as an actor and see you on TV and in movies, and now you're on Traders and people know you from that. But I was reading that you left New York originally to go to LA to be a stand-up comedian.
I did. When I was 19, that was what I originally did before I started acting. Was I thought I was going to be the next Eddie Murphy, and I was 19. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was a good stand-up, but I fell in love with acting the first time I ever did it, and about right before the pandemic, which seems like so long ago, I started doing stand-up again, and now I do both, and I love them both. There's something. Performing in front of a live audience is really unlike anything else because it's so immediate, it's unpredictable, and it's just there's nothing like performing in front of a live audience. So I love doing both, and they're both something that I'm fortunate to be able to do for so long now.
Hey, Michael, who were some of the big names that you might have crossed paths with when you first went out into LA? Like you said, when you were 19 or 20, some of the people that were at the Comedy Store and the other stops. On that LA comedy circuit.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many of them. Adam Sandler, Ben Stiller, Dave Chappelle, the Keenan Wayans, Damon Wayans. Sarah Silverman. It was. I used to be at the Improv, the Los Angeles Improv. That's when I first started, and it was. Jay Leno was there. You would see Roseanne Barr. You would see. I saw it. I was never there when Eddie Murphy popped in there, but I was hanging with that first group of people. I was, around them. They were more my age. Seinfeld was kind of already a guy. You see Joan Rivers was in there. Everybody. Richard Lewis, the late great Richard Lewis. Yeah. Larry David when he had more hair. Tons of people.
What was your first apartment?
Arsenio Hall was a big one.
Okay.
What was your first apartment like that? My daughter lives in West Hollywood now, and I know that it costs a ton of money for a little 1-bedroom. Where did you live?
I lived in an apartment in Hollywood, right in the dumps of Hollywood, in an apartment that was a single apartment. It wasn't tiny, but it was like a studio apartment. It was $350 a month.
Oh,
wow,
that is a long time ago.
Yeah, but how much were you?
How much $3,000 now?
How much were you pulling in doing stand up then?
Not much.
$350 a month.
Yeah, maybe it was $350 a month. I had a job. My first job in Los Angeles I was a messenger, a car messenger, and obviously this is 1989. There's no navigation, so you have these maps called the Thomas Guide, and you'd have to figure everything out by hand. There's no cell phone, so when you get lost, and I never even drove, let alone drove in Los Angeles. So I'm trying to find my way around, delivering things in Los Angeles. So that was my first job in my $350 a month apartment.
Hey, Mike, kind of a small world. Greg Garcia is a good friend of mine, who's the creator of My Name is Earl. I know you were in My Name is Earl a few times, but
yep.
So Greg and I are friends. He's actually in Thailand with his wife now for a month, but I told him you were going to be on the show, and he said, tell him hello. Did you know he's doing stand-up now?
I didn't, but I'm not surprised. He should do stand-up because he's very funny, obviously, and, I've always felt like he wanted to get behind, from behind the camera. So right. I didn't know that, but I'm sure he's great, and I'm sure he's, edgy, and he's got. I didn't know that. I got to hit him up.
Yeah, hit him up.
Have you seen him doing it?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but apparently he's been really good.
Hey, Michael.
I'm sure. I'm not surprised.
Michael, you were in a movie of maybe the greatest cast of all time in True Romance back in '93. What was that like being surrounded by Dennis Hopper, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken. Like, what was that like for you as a young actor, just being amongst that ridiculous cast?
It was exactly what you would think. I was very well aware of the excitement of it. I was very well aware of the opportunity. I was such a fan. I'm still a fan of all those guys. The late great Dennis Hopper, the late great James Gandolfini, Tony Scott also passed away. I mean, it was a special time, a special film that has superseded all expectations, and it's something that people probably bring up to me at least once a day. People love that film, and it was something that I'll never forget, and I'll always appreciate being a part of.
Joined by actor and comedian Michael Rapaport. He's going to be at the Draft House this weekend. Get your tickets at arlingtondrafthouse.com. Great spot to go see shows. I was just there last weekend. I saw Jeremy Piven. I wanted to ask you this. So my wife and I watched some shows on Bravo, and you pop up on there a lot. You're like an addict. I've seen you with Andy Cohen. What was the first show that you got on? And like I think you maybe watch all the Housewives shows. I've seen you talk about it.
All of them. The Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm amped up for the reunion the final part of the reunion part 3 this Sunday. Shout out to the ladies of Potomac. Of course, Atlanta, New York, New Jersey, Miami, Salt Lake City, Beverly Hills, and of course the OGs in OC. I think it was New York. My wife was watching them, and I had a terrible day in fantasy football, and I threw in the towel for my fantasy football day, and I just started watching. This is, I don't know how many years ago, but I just love them. I think they're very entertaining, especially with all the craziness that's going on in the world. I think they're good TV. They're, for the most part, very lighthearted and just very funny. And I think it's, an incredible medium. I think people used to look at reality TV as like some sort of something to look down on, but to me, it's the most entertaining, television outside of sports for me.
Michael, I had taken a break from reality game shows, especially for a while, until our producer, he hipped me to The Traitors about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And I kind of forgot about it, but then I was like, let me give it a try. I'll give it a shot.
At first.
I kind of scoffed a little bit, but I've tried it.
Gave it a shot.
I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm in. I'm all in. Yeah. I'm back, baby, and you're part of season 4. How do you get approached for The Traitors? Was it something you were just like, yeah, I'm definitely doing that?
He's part of the Bravo universe.
Yeah, you're in that ecosystem.
I mean, they heard me talking about the show somewhere. It was either on my podcast or somewhere, and they asked me about it, and I'm such a fan of that show and a lot of those shows, and I did it. It's been fun. The response has been crazy. I kind of treated it. My instinct is to perform. I'm not like I'm not that comfortable being myself, because my actual self is pretty boring. I know you're probably like, yeah, what are you talking about? But like what people see on social media, what they see on Traitors is a version of myself. It's like a heightened version. So it was funny. It's interesting because I know that, now that I'm seeing it, people were coming in and were different sort of points of view than I was. Like, I was treating it almost like I would be watching myself in a reality show. Like, that's how I was like in the meta. Like, I felt like I was, because I'm such a fan of the shows. So that's how I was kind of, viewing it. But it was cool, and people love it. And the finales tonight, and then they have the reunion, and people just deep dive it, and then everybody's an analyst, and everybody's got inside scoops, and it's fun.
What do you think's the secret sauce for The Traitors? Why it's gotten so popular?
It's like lightning in a bottle, I feel like.
I think it's the thing that I think is the most compelling thing is it's not contrived. You don't know who is the traitors and who are the faithfuls. And I think people could relate to trying to figure that out. It's not set up. It's real. There's real money on the line, and there's rules and regulations, and we don't know what the hell's going on. And I think the cast is the secret sauce, and the game itself and the rules are the secret sauce. And, you get willing people to participate and, go all in. And I think, we did that this season. And, the game, the setup is, I think people can relate to, like who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. I think people can really, it resonates with people.
Plus, it keeps you guessing. Like, I thought it was a lock that, this is dorky, I know this, that Portia, one of the housewives, I was like, she's definitely a traitor. She's talking about, like, offing one of the contestants. She looked so guilty, and she wasn't.
You were wrong?
Yeah, it was so wrong.
Yeah. The same, and especially in the early part of the game.
Yeah.
You have to pick people, but you're not sure. Like as it gets further, it becomes a numbers game. But even then, there's twists and turns. But in the beginning, you don't know what's what and who's who, and you really start getting paranoid because you're like, oh well, she scratched her ear. The other day she didn't scratch her ear. She has to be lying. And you just start And then there's friendships and alliances, and there's like people sort of like there's cliques and all that stuff, and it all makes for a good show. And the way they tell the story, I have to give it up to the producers and the editors. They trim down hundreds of hours of footage into a season and even an episode. So it's a lot that goes into it, and they make it look simple and seamless, but. It's so much a part of pop culture. Like 30 years ago when The Real World came on, and you never thought these shows would last. But to me, like I said, it's a great form of escapism.
Hey, Michael, we know you're a big NBA guy, big Knicks fan. Are you starting to get worried about what the Wizards are building down here as far as their rebuild? Is that starting to worry you up there in New York?
Listen, the way the NBA is evolving and changing. I mean. Who's playing? I mean, I love Trey. Anthony Davis is obviously a problem when he's healthy. If you get those two guys on the court for 70 games, you have a completely different culture in DC.
It will take 60. 70 might be a little high. We'll go 60 to 62.
Yeah,
it's probably a good number.
Pathetic that we're at this point. Like I was just talking to somebody else about the tanking and. Last night, the Cavaliers sit everybody, and they're like, oh, well, it was the second night of a back-to-back. And I'm just like, this is crazy. It's crazy. Either cut the back-to-backs out completely or there's got to be some ramifications, for the fans. Because if you are sitting your 2-3 best players, that's like throwing a game. Like, that's crazy to me that it's happening. And obviously, every year around this time, with the NBA, you start thinking about the draft and the tanking and all that stuff. They have to figure out a way to stop it.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer, but it's just it's not cool. And for the fans, for the viewers, it's not cool. But the NBA is fantastic. March Madness is coming up. It's a great time of the year for sports. Obviously, the NFL, we got the combine, so I'm excited. We got the Yankees, we got your Generals. It's hopefully when the weather gets better, we can have some good.
Where do you find the time, Michael? You're watching all those shows on Bravo, and then you're watching all the sports.
Right, he's doing stand-up.
And you're working. You're doing stand up. You're at the draft house.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy being me. It ain't easy being a sports fan. It ain't easy being a reality TV junkie. It ain't easy being Michael Rapaport. I got 4 shows in Arlington. I got 2 tomorrow night.
Yep.
I got 2 Saturday night at the Arlington Draft House. I love the DMV area. I love, the crowds down there. So it ain't easy, but, things could be worse, and I take all of it as a blessing. I'm a lucky guy.
Are you in New York now?
Yes.
Oh, dude, that snowstorm was absurd. At least you're going to have 65 degrees. Well, maybe not 65. You're going to have 60 degrees down here when you're here Saturday.
Is that right? Is that really going to happen? So tomorrow?
You're going to have warmer weather this weekend.
Yeah, you can do your gig in shorts.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. I need to do that. Because maybe a tank top. I show off the physique. That's one of the things I want people to know when you come see me, especially the ladies. I will be on stage with a tank top. You'll get to see the pistols. You'll see the guns. You'll see the V in the back. You'll see the whole thing.
Get the whole package.
It'll be funny.
Love it.
And I like to engage the audience. So it's going to be a good time at the Arlington Draft House.
Michael,
Yes,
it's always great, man. We appreciate the time, man.
Take care, bro.
I appreciate
Have
you
great
guys having me on. Have a great weekend, and let's stay warm out there.
Let's do it. That's Michael Rapaport. You can get tickets for his 4 shows this weekend at ArlingtonDraftHouse.com. So be sure to go out and see him. We're the Junks. We'll be right back.